Okay, so guys, thanks for joining today's session. And today is the 12th day of the training, and today is the second last session. And today's agenda is we are going to work with VBCS again, and we will look at the other functionality, how to use dialog boxes, search by functionality. If you have a table and you want to search data from a table, how to search those data, how to extend the Salesforce application, how to interact with Oracle Cloud application, means extending the non-Oracle and Oracle application, very important use case here. The development to stage and stage to publish, how to change the phases of the application, how to allow anonymous access for the VB application or the business object so that users can access the data anonymously, and how to allow the service connection to be accessed anonymously. How to add team members into your web applications so that your developers can contribute in your application. How to create different versions of a VBCS application, working with mobile application, how to enable PWA support, build configuration for Android and iOS, and we will look at how to enable security in your VB application. So let me just open the application. Last time we have created it and we have executed a lot of use cases here. So with that, let's try to extend the same application with other different functionalities. So guys, you remember we have created this main start page wherein we have given one functionality to delete an employee. Okay, when you select a particular row and click on a delete button, the row will be deleted without asking any confirmation message. If you want to have a confirmation message, you want users to first confirm that they want to delete that employee, then only the employee will be deleted. So how to create such type of functionality, and here I will show you how to use the dialog boxes. So let's suppose in a table you want to create a extra column. Okay, so here this employee ID, first name, last name, full name, email address, age, and qualification is coming from your database, means business object. You want to add any extra column which will be treated as an action column. Go to the data and here click on this edit row. Sorry, here and here you see the new empty column. You can click on this new empty column and here you can see this thing will be visible here where you can provide the header. Let's say action. You can see action, and in that column you can put you can put input text, the drop down, whatever you want, or any button. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a button component here. And here I will say, I will change the button text as a delete. You can change it as a solid. And on the delete button, I first want to open a dialog box which will ask me that do you want to delete that row? If yes, then only the user will be deleted. So we have one component here which is called dialog box. So you can put the dialog box here. Initially it will not be visible, but here you see I have just put the dialog component and then properties has been opened. Here you see temporary override. By default it's off. If you want to show that, you can click on a show. Here you see this is how your dialog box looks like initially. We will change that. You can change it, the dialog title, let's say delete user. Delete user. Here you see the title has been changed. There's a button into that and you can say yes. You can put more and more components in this dialog box. Let's say bind text here, and in that I am saying, do you want to delete the user? something like this. Okay. I can put one more button here. Let's say button, and I can put one more button, and that will say no. And on the yes button, I will change the Chromic solid. So if I will click on a yes button, the user will be deleted. If I click on a no button, simply the dialog box will be deleted. So my dialog box is ready. Now we need to wire. Let me just click on a off. Let me just wire few events here. So on the delete button, I will use that employee ID. So here, if I click on this delete, the employee ID is 3. If I click on a delete, the employee ID will be 4. So I need to maintain that employee ID basis on the delete button. So I am going to create a variable here, and let's say user ID, for example, and that will be of integer type. In that, I will maintain the ID of the user which is going to be deleted. Click on the delete button. On the events tab, I will register one event which is called OJ action. Okay. On that OJ action, first I will use the assign variable and will assign the ID of a user which I wanted to delete. Means the key. The key will hold the primary key of the table, means the employee ID. And I will use this key into the user ID. So the user ID will hold the employee ID. Save. And now I want to open the dialog box. So there's a action called call component. Call component is an action which allows you to work on the OJet component here. So you see component, and we have the dialog ID here. If you want to change the dialog, you can change it. Go to the page designer, go to the structure, dialog component is here, go to general, and this is the OJ dialog. Let's say OJ delete, OJ dialog delete. Okay. Now on the delete button, go to the event, go to this, and now on this, you can see OJ dialog delete and all the associated method you can see here. Let's say open. Now when I will click on a delete button, the user ID will hold the employee ID and it will open the dialog box. Go back to this designer, and the no button, I will simply close the pop-up. Then again, I will register a new event, and I will use this call component, and I will simply choose this, and then I will say close. Go to the page designer. Let's try to test few functionality here. Go to the main, change the default page and click here. Click on a delete. Here you see the dialog has been opened. If you click on a yes, nothing will happen. But if you click on a no, the dialog will be closed simply. Now the functionality on the yes button, I want to delete a user, refresh that row, refresh this table and remove the dialog box, means close the dialog box. So let's enable this functionality. Go to the main start page. On this yes button, I will register an event, OJ action. And now I want to call the REST endpoint to delete a user. And what it will be. Now how to call it? I will have the call REST, which we have used earlier. Select it, and here open the business object employee, and I will use the delete API operator. Select it, employee ID, assign, and then user ID, employee ID. Save. Here you see. So this call REST endpoint will call the business object delete employee REST API. I have passed the employee ID here. If it is success, then it will go here. Otherwise, it will go here. I can provide notification here. And first, I want to refresh my table. So for this, I will use this fire data provider event here, and I will refresh simply, and I will use my employee list STP, because the table is based on the STP. So I have done that, and then I want to close the pop-up. So use this call component, and here you can say object delete, and method name is close. I also want to fire a notification here. I will say fire notification here, and I will say user has been deleted successfully. Okay, I will say this as a confirmation and translate. Let's start this again and we'll see. Okay, click on a delete. No, nothing will happen. Click on a delete, and here you see this row should be deleted here, Nikhil 1, and the dialog box should be closed, the table should be refreshed, and the fire notification will be fired. Error responding during rest action. So let me just inspect it. Network, let me just try again and we'll see. Okay, it is because might be if you go to the business object, if I have the address of that here, Nikhil here, yeah, so I will delete that. This is because of that only. Run it again. It is because we have the address table wherein I have used the employee ID as a primary key, foreign key. Hence, this was an error. So now let's try it again. Yes. Here you see user has been deleted successfully from the table as well. You see the dialog box. And if you go to this employee table, the data has been deleted from here. Guys, any question on this? Anyone?
Hi, Ankur, Tegeshwar here. How we will know which component we have to use? There are various components. The components when you are taking, just now when you can you go back to the page design? Yeah.
So here?
Yeah, here. So is there any usage like, I mean, this is for this like assign variable we know now when you say call component, similarly fire data provider, fire event. I mean, the usage, how I will know which one is for this specific.
So I am telling you, right? When I am dragging and dropping, I am telling you this call rest is to call the rest endpoint. And here I have selected it. You should know, right? Whatever I am using it, I am explaining what is the purpose of it, and then you have to remember and then use that accordingly.
No, I am asking you from generic perspective. This is for this usage, like. Can we go to the components? Like there are many various in the components actually.
Are you talking about this one?
Yes. This item various are there. Yeah. So is there any link or where we will know like?
Yeah.
This is
so
for this.
We have the Oracle Jet cookbook, right, where you can find all the Oracle Jet components, and all these components are visible here too. So you can simply learn all these components from here. I can paste this link over the Zoom chat. You can take it from there. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. If you can just put in Zoom chat.
I did that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's proceed further and let's try to do one more functionality here. Let's suppose you have one big table here. From that table, you want to search the data. You want to give a search by functionality. How it will work actually. So let me just create a form here which will allow me to search the data. So for this, what I'm going to do, I am going to put a form layout just above this table. Okay, and here I will change the form layout max column from 1 to 2. Okay, and I want to search the databases on the first name or the email address only. So I will put input text here, another input text here. Okay, and then I want to put a button component here. And you can change the search. So open this text here and I will remove the label hint and I will say search by first name. And similarly here, I will say search by email address. Fine. Here. So you remember when we created this address, the address table, we have used one filter criteria component. And I will show you how it works is. So here you see on the list SDP, on the SDP variables, we have the filter criteria automatically. Filter criteria. So all these objects are used to filter the data. So these are the parameters of the APIs. So you can use it. Similarly, in this also, you will see all these. By default, it will come with the REST APIs of the business object. Select this, and here, if you see the filter criteria, so this filter criteria, if you expand it, it takes OP, attribute, and then value, which means the operation which you want to perform, like equals, contains, greater than, equals. So here, if you click on this add condition, you can see all the operators here. CO, EQ, EW, ends with, PR, has value, GT, GE, LT, LE, lot of. And this is the attribute, ATTRIBUT, which on which attribute you want to filter, and the value here. So I will create this filter criteria object here and then will pass the field's name. So I am going to create a type here and using custom, and here you see search criteria. It will be of a object type. Click on a create, and I will exactly add the 3 fields here with the same name: OP, create new, value, and then attribute. Okay, attribute, OP, and then value. I have added 3 attributes here. Go to the variable here, and I will add two variables here. Let's say first name criteria, which will be of my search criteria type. Similarly, I will create another one. Let's say email address criteria, and that again will be of search criteria type. Here you see attribute OP value, attribute OP value. So in this email address criteria attribute, it will be email address, and this is the field name of your email address. OP, operation type, let's say contains. Okay, this is a contains, so this is a standard one. Similarly, in the first name criteria attribute, name is first name, and OP also I will say contains. You can say EQ as well for exact match, but I will say contains. Go to the page designer now and select this first name and go to the data, and I will associate this value component with the first name criteria value attribute, so that whatever value you will enter here, it will go into the value field. Similarly for this cell also, email address criteria value. Fine. Now I want to, when I click on a search, either you enter first name or the email address, I want to filter the data from here. Go to the search, go to events, and then OJ action here. Okay. And first I am going to use a assign variable and click on a assign. So it might be possible either you enter the first name or the email address, whatever you will enter, basis on that I will search. So expand it and expand it. Here I will map this value to value, and here I will use ternary operator here. How? If there a value in the value field of the first name criteria, then provide as it is, else provide blank value, which means here, let's suppose you are trying to enter Ankur here. So it will check the values there in this. If it is, then same will be copied into the value field. Otherwise, it will copy the blank. Okay. Same case for the email address as well. Okay. Save. Now I will use another assign variable component. Click on a assign, and I will add both the criteria, employee address criteria variable and first name criteria variable, onto this employee list SGP. So this SGP variable is associated with my table. Select it, filter criteria, and here you see criteria is an array type. So you can add both these criteria here. And if you click on this filter criteria, if you go to the code here, you see criteria, and you have added the email address criteria and the first name criteria. Save. Now I am good and try to run it. Looks like when I do this, it creates a problem. Let me refresh it. Okay, and this BB application is, oh, sorry. Is auto saved. You don't need to save it again and again. It will be saved automatically. Okay. Let me see if everything is here. Yeah. Now let me just put NU here. So we have NU here in the first name, then only this row will be visible. What happened? Maybe I have done something wrong, but let me just check it quickly. That's fine. Sorry. First name 2. That's fine. ATTRI. What is the problem then? Let me just try to run it again and we'll see. Okay. Let me search with NU. Oh, it says 400 bad request. It might be possible. Let me just open this employee business object first. Oh, it's triple S actually. There is a problem with that. So I have to put the exact same here. It's triple S. Hence it creates a problem. Okay, let's try put again NU. You see the first name has been filtered out. If you do that, let's say at Jane, then also this row will come only. Search. If you say .com, You can see everything is here. So this is how you can do the filter in the VB application. Any question on this, please? I hope it is clear to everyone.
Ankur, how to debug, to find out the exact
I will come to that. I will explain the same today only. Okay, so let's proceed further. So, guys, allow me a minute, please. Okay, fine. So here, the main intent of the VB is to interact with the SaaS application, how to create a small extension or the large extensions. Let's suppose you have one Salesforce application in your organization up and running, and there's a set of users who wants to use the Salesforce system functionality, but due to some limitation license issues, you cannot provide the access to the Salesforce instance access, because it may be a cost, the cost, there may be a cost involved into this, because every Salesforce user has its own license, and Salesforce works on the user licensing thing. So what you can do in that case, in order to save the cost, you can create a extension in the VB application, so that the user who want to extend who want to use the Salesforce, they can use it, the VB application, and you can create the full-fledged application in the VB in order to meet the exact requirement of your end users who wants to access the Salesforce. So instead of using the Salesforce, you can provide access to the Salesforce app. You can provide access of the VB application and let them use it, the functionality. So in Salesforce, we have the lots of REST API, which you can use to interact with the Salesforce system. So if you want to do the same, you can do it. How? You have to create a service connection first. Click on this plus button and click on the service connection and use the define by endpoint, because we have the Salesforce REST API. So I have the Salesforce REST API. Let me just open and how it works is I will also show you. I hope my Postman is visible to everyone. Okay, so here how it works is, first you have to, there's a two things. One, so in order to use the Salesforce APIs, you must have the application generated in the Salesforce, which will give you the client secret and the client ID here. Okay, just allow me a minute. Okay, so here you see how it works is, so there's a post API of the Salesforce called https://login.salesforce.com/services/oo/token. So this is the Salesforce API wherein you need to pass the client secret and client ID. So this client ID, client secret will come from the Salesforce stream only. You don't need to bother it about. And then the grant type equals to password. This will be the fixed username of the Salesforce username, and then password, you have to enter it. Password, this is the password, and plus this is a security token which we have created from the Salesforce, and I have showcased how to generate the security token in the integration. So Once you will click on the send button, it will provide me the access token. Okay. Now let me just hit the same. Click on the send button. Once I will do it, it will give me the access token. So you can use this access token to call the Salesforce APIs here. So I have the API, this is the instance name, and then slash services data v50.0 query, select ID, first name, last name, salutation from contact. So if I go to the header, I need to pass the same into the authorization header. So bearer, the bearer token, and then paste. So this is my access token, send. Here it will show you everything, the data of my contact. So let's try to use this contact API in my VB. Let's see how to use it. Okay, let me just go here. Okay, so here you have to paste the URL of your Salesforce API, which is my till query. Okay, this one query. So it's a get many. It will provide me the lots of result. Click on the next, and in the server, so here you see authentication. So this server is using the resource owner, wherein you need to pass the username and the client ID. Username, the Salesforce username, and then password of the Salesforce. Let me just take it from my Postman only. Okay. Similarly, you have to take the client ID and then client secret. Client ID and then client secret too. Okay. And then save it. And here you need to pass the token URL, which is the login.salesforce.com. And here you can say always dynamic, the service does not support course. Click on the request, and here you can add one dynamic query parameter as a queue, because you need to pass the query here and it is required. Go to the test, and here on the queue test, try to pass the query value here, which is my, just to test this API. Okay. This one. Let's click on a send request. Here you see the API has been created successfully. Click on a create button. Oh, sorry. So you have to click on a save as example response. Okay. And then create. Now here you see server has been added and endpoint has been added here. So let's suppose you want to add one more endpoint to create the contacts. So you can add that to add a endpoint, and here you can say I have one more endpoint to create the contact. So let me just add it. I'm sorry. Yeah. So it will be the same. You can say contact. This will be the post API, and it will do the create. Okay. Go to the test. Let's try to test it. And here I will pass the body. Let me just pass a simple body here. And let's say this one. Okay. If you click on a send request, it will try to create one user here. Why so? Oh, sorry. It will have with the.
You have to.
So there is a problem with this. So it will be this one. Okay. Send request now. Let me just try again. Okay. I have some issues. Delete that and try again. Do the post and then create test, add the body here. Sorry.
Save as example request you have to, no?
Huh? No, I can do that.
We have to.
I will do that. Yes. Here you see it's done. Save as example response. Also, you have to this one as well. And then add. Right? So get many and then create has been added. Fine. Let's try to use both. Go to the web application. Let me just try to create another web application and let's say tabbed one and let's say Salesforce extension. Here I will say list contacts and here I will say add contact. And add contact. I can delete the same and then create. Here you see there will be two different flows has been created. One is to list contact and the second is to add contacts. Okay. Go to this list contact. Now first, what I have to do, if you go to this list contact, I will create a table component here. And this table component will show me all the contacts. Okay. So I will create a variable here which will hold the contact query string type, and here I will pass the default value which I will take it from here and I will say this one and I will pass the default value here. Okay. Go to the page designer and I will bind add data and here you see service data and I will use this query one. Next, and whatever you want to use, you can use it ID, first name, sorry, salutation, first name and then last name. Okay. Primary key, let's say ID. Next, here I need to pass the query parameter. So I have created one variable here and I will pass the same here. Finish. Here you see everything has been fetched here. Right. And let's me try to add a contact here. Add a contact start. Similarly, let me just do it in a declarative fashion. So let me just say form layout here. Set to, okay. Let me take select one here, select in, okay. Input text. One input text, second input text, third input text, and what else? Well, okay, fine. And let's say button. Okay, I will say add. Fine, I will go ahead and will create a type from endpoint and will use that service data and then this one contact one. and I will use the request one, first name, everything. Okay, finish. Right? Go to the variable. I will create a new variable here and will say new contact, and that will be of my this type, which I have created here now. Right? Go to the page designer, and here let's say enter salutation, and I will bind this with new contact salutation. Here too, this is my first name. You can say enter first name. And here I'll say enter last name. Data, and I will bind this with last name. Now, as a next step, I need to register an event on the add contact. Go to the events, new event, and then OJ action. And here I will use this call rest because I want to add, I want to call the rest endpoint. Select, and I using the services data, and I will use this contact. Select. Here I need to pass the body. Click on assign, and you see I have the new contact, and put this new contact to the body. Save. And then you can put the fire notification here. You can say contact get it successfully. You can say transient and then confirmation. Let's try to run it. So here you can see everything is here. We have a 9. How many contacts we do have? Let me see. So you can do that. Go to this. You can create a new empty column here. Okay, I will take it on the top and will say this is serial number. Okay, and what I will do here, I will say bind text. The component here text. Okay, you can put it here, and here what you can do, you can put index, and in that index it starts from 0, and you can add one value here +1, and now it will show you 30 records. This is how you can add the sequence number in your table. Go to the add contact. Okay, let's say Mr. Shekhar Gupta. Here you see contact created successfully. If you go to this list contact, here you can see 31 records. Mr. Shekhar Gupta has been added here. So this is how you can do that. If you want to add update functionality, you can do that too. But this is the net. You can add more and more functionality as per your requirement. Make sense, guys?
Yes, Ankur.
Yes.
Ankur, one question here. If we want to add like pagination
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
data populated.
This is a good thing here. You see, we do have lots of data here. Okay, let's 31. But you only want to fetch 11 record initially, and then when you scroll down, you want to get it. but such functionality should exist in your what we say, in your service endpoints. But in the service endpoint, this functionality does not exist. But let me just show you such functionality from the business object standpoint of view. Let's say I have an employee here. Okay, we have the data. Okay, so let me just do one thing. Download list of countries. Let me just download our Excel sheet and we'll create a okay. Here you see, I have downloaded one Excel sheet which is showing me a lot of countries. So let me just export, create a business object using this Excel sheet. Okay. Go back here. Okay. Go here and let me just go to my data manager and import business object, upload a zip file. Okay. 199. Next. And you can say this is country data, for example, and you can say country data, because country is already there. I can say country data. Next, here you see English format, everything has been added. Okay, finish. Close. You see country data, business object has been added along with the all the data. Now let me just create a page here. Let's say paginate data and then create. Let me just add a table component here. Okay, click on add data and use this country data. Next, use this here, let's say English, short, French, and fine. Next, and then finish. Okay. Let me just change it to the paginate data and then run it. Here you see we have lots of record. When you will, it will load each and everything at once. Now what you want to apply a pagination here, and initially you only want to show 25 records or 30 records. Okay, and when you will scroll, another set of 25 records should be fetched. So how it works is actually, so when let me just load everything here. This one. So you know, when this page will load, it will call the REST endpoint of your business object REST API. And when it will call the REST API, it will load 25 records in a single call. If you have more record, it will again make a call and will fetch 2500 more records. And how you can do that? I will show you how you can show. You just go to this inspect. If you go to this network, let me just remove everything. Do you see country data, country data, country data, country data, country data? How many times it has been called? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times. In every call, it is fetching only 25 records. Do you see the, if you see here, headers, you can see here limit 25, which means in a single call, it will fetch only 25 records at a time. Similarly, if you here you see limit 25 and offset is 0. If you see it again, you will see 25 and offset is 25, which means it will skip the 25 records previous one and will fetch another 25 record. Means it will call multiple, the API will be called multiple times. If you have thousand of records, and if you are trying to load all these records, it will call APIs multiple times, which can slow down your performance. So for that, you want to do the paginate your data. So what we have is, if you click this table, if you go to this all, here we have three properties. Scroll policy, one has load more on scroll. So in order to paginate your data, the scroll policy should be load more on scroll. And we have another set of property which is called scroll policy options. Here, if you scroll it, if you hover it, you see this icon, which means you have sub properties of this property. Here we have scroll policy option dot fetch size. Fetch size means how many records it will fetch in a single call. By default it is 25. Maximum count, the 500. So if you have 1000 records in your business object, maximum it will fetch only 500s. So all other records will be skipped. So you can provide maximum count if you have more and more record. So which means fetch size in a single call, it will fetch 25, and in this it will fetch maximum 500 records. So let both these properties as it is. Now what we have to do into paginate, we have to set the fetch the property, the table height. So here you can go to the style and you can say HEI height, you can say 500 px. So it will fetch the first initial 25 records, and when you will scroll down to your table, it will fetch another set of 500 records. Let me just show you. Inspect. Remove. Here you see table width, the table height has been reduced. If you see country, only single time it has been called and it has fetched 25 records. When you will start scrolling, let me just clear that, you will see another set of records will be fetched. Here you see another call. If you again scroll down, you see another call, another call, another call. Do you see it's keep calling the business object when you will keep scrolling? So this is how you can paginate your data. Make sense?
Yes, Shankar. Thank you.
Okay. Now this is how you can do the pagination. This is how you can create the Salesforce extension. Similarly, you can create another application to extend your Oracle Cloud. You can say accounts. Here you can say add accounts. List accounts. And in this what I am going to show you, I am going to show you how to extend your Oracle Cloud application. So Piyush, please allow me to use your ERP instance which you have shared last time.
Yes, you can use it. It was a free instance. You can use it, but let me check. Password might get changed weekly basis.
Yeah, can you please check?
Yeah.
In meanwhile, let me just check too. Looks like the URL is also not working. Mhm. Piyush, are you able to open this URL?
Yes, no, I'm also not able to open the URL. I think they have changed the URL or something that I'm also trying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So no problem, guys. So if it is not working, you can try to check on this again, Piyush, and we can have this next in the next session, the last session. Okay,
Okay, I will check it.
no problem. So let me just proceed further and okay. Now here I will tell you one thing here. Now you see your status of your application is development. Every time you create a new application, the status of your application will be development phase. Now I'm telling you how to switch, how to manage the life cycle of your VB application. There are three phases of the application. One, initial phase is the development. Second is stage, which is your QA. You can say, let's suppose your development is completed and you want to deliver your application to your stakeholders to verify the functionality of your application. So you have to change the phase of your application, which the second phase, which is called your stage. As I mentioned earlier also, every phase of the application has a separate schema of the business objects. When you will change the phase of the application, all the artifacts will be copied in your stage schema. So another stage schema will be created in your embedded database. How to change the phase? Click on this application, come out from the web application, come on this screen, go to this action menu, and here we have the stage. Click on this stage. When you open it, it will have two options. First time you will see two options. Stage application with a clean database, which means when you will switch the phase from development to stage, all the business objects will be created, but there will be no data copied, which means there's a clean database. All the table will be empty. If you choose second option, populate stage with development data, which means the data will also be copied. Let me use this option and click on a stage. When you change the phase here, you will see the development will change to stage. And it will generate a unique URL, which you can provide to your end stakeholders to test it. If you click on this icon, you can see cloud application extension, Salesforce extension, tutorial app. We have three web application, and for each and every web application, you have a three different unique URL. And this is the URL which you can give to your end user to test the functionality. Same this, you see here. Okay, you see IC Builder RT. RT will be added here, and similarly RT will be added here too. Now, if you open this application, go to the business object, let's say employee data. You can see development phase and the staging phase will also be available, enabled, and you can see the same set of data. And when once here you can see the stage as well. And once your application phase will be changes and you want to do some bug fixing, you can do that in the staging environment. And you cannot go back from stage to development. You cannot do that. And if you want to change anything, you can do that. Everything is available. You can update your application here. Let's say first name. And again, you have to restage your application in order to reflect the changes. Until and unless you will restage after making the changes will not be reflected. Okay. So in order to reflect the changes, you have to restage. So how you can do that? Again, click on this action menu and then stage. And this time you will have 3 options. Keep existing data in a stage application with a clean database, and replace stage with development data. So the data will be as is, stage application with a clean database, existing data will be flushed, and replace stage data with the development data, which means the data which is there in the development database will be copied to the stage. Whatever option you want to choose, you can choose and then stage. And now the application again has been restaged, and the changes which you have done will be affected. Now let's consider your QA is completed, your testing is completed. Now you want to make your application available for the end users. So there's a third phase which is called the live phase. Click on this action menu and here you see publish. After your application is staged, only you will see the publish only. Click on this publish. Similarly, you will have both the options, include data from stage or publish application with a clean database. So might be you don't want to copy your staging QA data or development data into your staging into your published application, because there might be a junk data which you don't want to bring into your published application. So let's use this feature and then publish. And this time the status will become live, and every live application will have the different URL. You see, it will IC Builder RT. Here you see the live will be added in the URL. You see data is not there. It is because you have not copied your data into your production one. If you open this application, go here, you can see employee, you can see live is here, and no data is here because we have taken the live with the clean database. But maybe in the qualification you will have the data. No. Yeah. But if this option will be enabled, contains application setup data, whatever option you will opt, the data will be copied automatically, because it indicates that business object have the foundation data for your application, which will always be there in your business object. And again, if you go to the data, you can see it is not there in the live phase 2. One thing to notice, once your application is live, you cannot do any changes. Here you see design is disabled. Even in the code, you cannot do any changes. You can do that, but it will not allow you to do anything. Here you see your changes could not be saved because the application is in the read only state. Nothing will happen, which means once your application is live, you cannot do any change here. You can only add or update data into the business object, but you cannot change any functionality of your application. In case you want to enhance the functionality or you want to do some bug fixing, so what you have to do, first you have to create a new version of the application. How? Click here and then new version 101. As of now the version is 10. Click on a create button. Every time you create a new version, the status will be in the development phase, and you can see this is live. Now you can do the development here. Again, do the whole cycle means the development to stage and stage to production. But for every, okay, so here you see we have the stage, this is stage URL, and in the stage URL you will notice the version of the application, but in the live you don't have the version, which means for every stage, it is for the versions, there will be a unique URL. For each and every version, the stage URL will be totally different because it will keep adding the versions here. You see 101. But when you will make it live, the previous live version will become obsolete because the URL will remain the same for the live, which means for every version, the live URL will remain the same. And here, if you try to make it live, publish here, I understand the live data will be lost. Okay. And the previous one will become obsolete. You can see here. Let it be finished. Why this checkbox is there? It might be because if you have the data earlier in the previous live application, then the data will be lost. And here you see this is obsolete and then nothing is there. You can see the URL is exact the same. This is how you do the stage development to stage and stage to live. Sometimes what happens, let's suppose your application is live and you want to lock your application so that no one can access it. So you have an option called lock. So it's live logged, which means if you again open this application, you will see application is locked for a temporary basis. You can again unlock the application. And now you can open the application with the same URL. There you go. Guys, make sense?
Ankur, in present scenario, all this business object data are stored in the ATP database.
No. By default, it is the in Oracle, VB embedded database. It's not in the ATP.
Okay, can we check?
Huh?
Can we see?
What you can see? You can see the data here. Na, you can see business object.
Okay,
here.
Okay. But day before yesterday, once I was creating this database business object, and I just go to ATP and I searched there. I found that data table name. I found able to find the table name there.
Huh?
Yeah, day before yesterday, I have created two business object, and I go to ATP database. Where I found the table name. I am able to find that table name.
With which name?
I don't know how it's happened.
No.
I have created one
So are you using the same instance? Can you see if you have not you have not switched your embedded database to tenant database? Till the time you will switch it, you will not be able to see. Might be someone has created it earlier.
Okay.
Let me just again go create another version of it. Let's say 102. Now let me show you how to add team members into your application. Let's suppose as of now you are only doing the development. Okay. If I will open the application, if I will log in into the Visual Builder with a different name, I will not be able to find out this application because this is developed by different user, this user only. But if you want your another developer to contribute into your same application, then you have to add the users, add a team member into your application. And how you can do this? Click here, go to this action menu and go to the settings. And here we have the teams. And in the teams, you will see the members and you can see the history as well. The members, you can search the members here, whatever users you have in your IDCS. Here you can see we have 4 users. Okay. And one user is already added. You can see 3 more users. Let's say Ankur Jain, you want to add as a team member so that Ankur Jain can contribute in the same application too. So Ankur Jain, and then click on a add. Now Ankur Jain will be able to see the application when Ankur will log in here into the same visual builder, and Ankur Jain will be able to update the functionality. This is how you can add the team members into your application. Now, next thing I wanted to show you how to enable anonymous access. So every time, let's suppose you have this application, okay? This is the secured application. If I will try to log in into this application, if I will try to log in into this application, it will ask me the username and then password. Here you see. But if you want your users to access your application anonymously, you can do that. How? Go here. How to enable anonymous access to the application? Click here. Click here, application, go to the settings. And here you say security, you see allow anonymous access. If you check this option, then users don't require to log in into your application. They will be able to access your application without login. So let me just change the default page. Okay, let's say start. Again, go to this application and then allow anonymous access. And in order to reflect these security things, these security settings applies to the stage or the live application. They are not applicable for the development phase. Now, let me just stage this application. Go to the stage and let's say populate stage with development data. But make sure here only this option is disabled. If it is not disabled, then you will not be able to allow anonymous access for your application. Okay, so this is the stage URL. So now let me just take this stage URL and open the incognito window, and let me just try to hit this application. And this time it should not ask me the username password. Here you see, you are able to view the application, but again you can see the application, but again it has taken me to the login page. It is because we have the business objects on the application, which is wherein I have the data. You see, here we have the data from the business objects. Hence, it is taking me to the login page. So you have to again provide the anonymous access of the business to the business objects as well. So how to provide the anonymous access to the business objects data so that user can access the data anonymously too. So for that, go to the business object and here let's say employees data. So we have the security here. So you have to enable the security. Go to the security and click on this enable security. When you enable the security, by default, you will see 2 rows. One as an anonymous user and second as an authenticated user, which means only the user who are authenticated will be able to view your data, create data, update data, and then delete data. But you want your anonymous user to view the data of your employee business object that too. So you have to enable the security and click on this option. Now your users will be anonymous user will be able to access the data from your employee business object that too. Similarly, I have to do for the address as well, because on the main start page, I have the employee address business object also. So again, click here, anonymous access. Now my anonymous access is there for business object too. Then again, I have to restage this application to reflect the changes. Let be staged. What happened to this? Okay. Let me just stage. I don't know if it has been staged or not. Oh, what happened? Let me just log out and log in. What happened to this, guys? Yeah, done. Okay. Now let me just again take this URL and let me just open the incognito window. What happened to this? Employees is there. I don't know. Yeah, let me just try it again. Just hold on. Why so? Again, it is not working. Address. Anonymous user is enabled. Have enabled both the access. maybe allow anonymous access to business object describe endpoint. But I don't think so. This is required. Guys, allow me a minute. Let me just recheck. Oh yeah. Now, okay. So here you see now the application has been loaded successfully with the data as well, which means I also have to enable the I also have to enable this option, allow anonymous access to the business object describe endpoint from here. Similarly, if you want your users to allow anonymously access the business services data, also you have to enable this option as well. So which means you have to enable anonymous access at 3 places: at the web application level, the business object level, as well as the service connection level, to enable your anonymous users to access your application along with the data. So this is how you can allow anonymous users to access your application. Any question on this, please? I hope it is clear. Hello. Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Ankur.
Is it clear?
Yes, Ankur.
Fine. So let's proceed further. Now here I wanted to show you how to secure your applications. So there are two ways to secure. One is the role-based security, and the second is the dynamic security. Let me just means the security at the what we say here, security at the elements level, I mean, which means, so let's suppose you have this application. Okay, you don't want your users to add a contact. You want to disable add contact button for your employees, but for the admin users you want to show the add contact only, or you don't want to show this add contact button or the tab for your admin, for your employees, regular employees, but this add contact will be visible only for the admin users. So this is your dynamic security, I can say, at the control levels. So how to enable such security? So for this, what I have done is, okay, so you have to create application roles in your VB application. So how to create application roles? Go to the users role. So you have seen in the business object, you have already two roles. By default, there are two roles called anonymous user as well as the authenticated user. So these role will be there automatically for each and every business objects. On top of that, you can create custom application roles too. How? Go to this application menu and click on the settings. And here we have the user roles. You can create a role here and you can say my employee role. Create. Similarly, you can create role here, admin. Okay, one more thing. Before I show the role here, I wanted to show you another functionality, which is called your application profiles, which is very, very important to understand, guys. So what happens is in reality, so you have added the service connections here. Okay, so let's suppose you have created a service connection with that server JSON placeholder. During your development, you will point to your development services. But when you will switch the phase from development to stage, it might be possible you have the different URL of your backend service. And when you will move to the production, there will be a different URL for sure. So you need to point the different URLs and how you do the same in your VB application. For this, we have the concepts of application profiles, which is nothing which points to the server instances, I will say, means the backend instances. By default, there's a application profile called base configuration will be created automatically, which will point to this URL. But you may have a different instances of your service connections, let's say production, let's say staging. So you can create our application profiles here. How you can do this? You can do this is a base configuration. You can create a duplicate profile and you can say this is my test configuration. And I will say default test profile, or you can say default stage profile. So what I want to use this configuration for my staging application. So click on this development. Another profile has been created and you see base configuration. You see 3 different icons. This is your development. This is your, I hope this is your stage, and this is your, no, this is development, this is stage, this is your publish. So by default, when you will change the phase development to stage or stage to production, this profile will be used only. But you want this stage configuration profile to be used for the stage application. So you can click on this and you will notice there are 3 as of now. So this is stage. You can say for stage application, I want to use this stage configuration. You see, this has been changed. Similarly, you can create one more profile. You can duplicate and you'll say live configuration. Default live profile in VBCS. And now you can say this is for publish one. When your application is the development, this application profile will be used. When it is in the stage, this application profile will be consumed. When is in the live, this application profile will be consumed. Now go to this service connection here and you can see as of now, all these 3 profiles are being used for a single server. So let's suppose you have another server. You can add one more server. You can add one more server here. Add server. You can say the URL can be changed. As of now, I am considering the same. Okay. And you can say this is my stage configuration and then create. Now this one will be used for the stage and the first one will be used for the base as well as for the live configuration. Let's suppose you have another server for the production. So you can say this is live and then create. Now this server will be used when the stage for the staging application. This will be used for your stage. So this will be used for your development. This will be used for your stage. This will be used for your production. Similarly, you have to add it. You have to add more and more servers for each and every service connections which you have created earlier. So that is the funda of application profiles, and very, very important to understand. And it is very simple also. Guys, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ankur.
Cool. Now let's move to the users roles. Okay, I have created roles. So these roles are applicable for each and every application profiles you create. But when you add users or groups to this role, it will be specific to the application profiles. Why? It is because there may be a different set of users for the development activities. There may be a different set of user for your development. There may be a different set of user for your life. But the role will be common for each and every phase. Let's say stage. What I want to align some users to the employee role. So in order to do this, what you have to do, click here, assign group. Whatever users you have in your IDCS, here you see, I have 4 users. Let's suppose you want to assign the Ankur Jain to this employee role. So you have to search a user from here and click on the plus button and click on a save changes. Now Ankur Jain has been assigned to the employee role. If you want to update it, you can update it. And let's suppose instead of having the user Ankur, you have the groups as well. Here I have created 2 groups. I have already created 2 groups here. You see, the EMP group and an admin group. In the EMP group, I have user as a Ankur. And in the admin group, I have the Priya. Right? So all these groups are visible here. So let's say employee role to employee group. So all the users who are in the group will be assigned to this employee role. Right? Now admin role, I will assign the admin group. So these groups should already be there in the IDCS. And this I have done for only stage. Here you see admin role, admin group, employee role, EMP group. If you go to the base configuration, I don't have the assigned users or group. Similarly for the live also. Okay. So this is how you can create the roles here. Now, go to this add contact. What I don't want employee groups, employee role to view this plus add contact button. For this, what I can do, I will apply a condition here and will say if there's a OJ if bind if, sorry. And here I want to do a condition here. And in the test, what I want here, we have the application object here under system. We have the user and we have the roles. You see applications.users.roles, and here I will say employee role which you have created. Sorry, admin role. So what I have done is I have created a condition here. Sorry. So here I have given a condition I have surrounded one condition on the OJ button wherein I am saying if application.users.role is admin role, then only show this button, otherwise don't show. How to test it? How to test this functionality now? Go to the design mode. Do you see this button? Who am I? So there's a button called Who am I? When you click this Who am I option, it will open this dialog box, which allows you to test your application with different roles which you have created under the application user roles. You see admin role, select this, select roles. Do you see here? Similarly, if you want to render your application as an employee role, you can do that too. Do you see here? Now again, when you will stage this application and will log in with the user who are in the employee role, they will not be able to see this button. Otherwise, the users who are in the admin role will be able to view the application. But this Who am I functionality is beautiful, and you can see all these things here. So this is, let's suppose you have a different controls, but you don't want to provide access to your users. So we have done we have secured a particular control. But if you want to secure the whole page, you can do that too. So we have this page open, add contact start, go to this JSON, come down, and here after this you can add one code here. This is a simple code, comma, security, access, and requires authentication, which means in order to access this page, you require the authentication. And roles, here you have to provide the roles who has access of this page only. Let's say only admin role. Okay, I am saying in order to access this page, the user should be in the admin role. So now go to the space designer and let me just admin role. You are able to access it, but if I go here, you see HTTP error status 403 forbidden, which means you don't have access to, you don't have a permission to access this page. Guys, make sense?
Yes, Ankur. Interesting.
Cool. Now, this is your page level access. Similarly, you have the role. So this is called your role-based security actually. And now, how to secure your business objects? If you go to the security, all the sorry guys, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Shankar.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So do you see here? You are, whatever roles you have created, it will be visible here. And now instead of using those roles, I want you to use these roles. So let's say disable all these things. What I want my employee role. Okay, so let's say view, create, update. I want employee role to only view, create, or update, and only those records which is created by only the user. So you can do that too. Let's say allow if user created the row, which means I have selected the row and I am saying if employee is under the employee role, he or she will be able to view, create, or update the records, but only those records which are updated by him. So for this, I have allow if user created the row, similarly allow if user created the row, and similarly allow if user created the row. You can expand it and you can see the exact query which has been done created by. So every business object has created by column, created by or updated by, created by and then created by and then last updated by. So this created by and last updated by will have the logged in user email ID. You can see here. And basis on that, it will work. You see this user. Okay. So what I have done is I have secured my employee business object. I am saying if, okay, so an admin role can do each and everything on each and every row. But employee can only view the records which is created by himself. Again, in order to reflect this, let's say, okay, so first I will make this application as a, I will disable this. Okay. Similarly, I will disable this setting so that it will only the logged in user can access this application. Right now, let me just stage this application again. Stage. Now let's see what will happen. So here, so I have logged in with this guy. This is the admin. This user is in the admin role. So everything is visible here. But let me just open my incognito window here and then open it. Let's see what will happen now. It should take me to this login page, and let me just log in here. I should not be able to see any data because I am logged in from a different user and there is no created by me. Yeah. Do you see? I have, so address is there because I have not restricted the addresses. So now if you click on a create employee, let's say okay, save. You see employee record saved created, and I can see the record here too, but I will not be able to delete that record because I have not given the delete permission. You see, could not delete status 403, but I can edit that record. Now, if I go here and I refresh this page, you as an admin will be able to view that record as a Disa. And if you go here, open this employee business object, go to the data, it will be visible in the staging only. You see Disha, and who has created that? You can created by, you can see this is created by Ankur Jain. This is how you can secure your applications. Means business object data. I hope that makes sense to everyone.
Yes.
Okay, cool. someone was asking how to debug that application. It's very simple. So debugging is very easy. So how to debug? Let's suppose you want to view anything here. So first you have to inspect it. So this is the browser developer tool which every browser has, whether you are using Chrome, Internet Explorer, Safari, and Firefox. So you just need to right click and then inspect, and it will show the elements, console, network. Console will capture each and everything which you have here. Here you can see everything will be visible here. Error only, okay. Default. Here you can see every component which you have here, you can track via the console. Do you see here? You see let's suppose you have this table component. You can search this table. You can see create employee. Maybe I have to open the verbose. Elements, console. But okay, oh, okay, got it. But everything will be captured in the console. If in case of any error, it will be captured here. And if you want to view the network calls, which means the REST API call, you can view it under the network for the debugging purpose, as I have shown you earlier. If you click here, you can see under the headers, what is the request URL for the REST endpoint. Here, this is the REST endpoint URL. If you go a little down, you can see what query parameter you have sent as a field, age, created by email address, first name, full name, ID, last name, qualification, and what is the done. What is the other parameter? Let's say limit and an offset. Similarly, if you go response, you can view it here. And now I will show you how the error looks like. I have this Salesforce extension application wherein I have created a variable as a contact query. Let me just do a certain change here. Okay, let me just make some error here. Let's say ID first name. Let's try to run this and let me just click on an inspect. Console. There should be an error for sure because I have done changes in the query. It is still loading. You see, it's trying to make a query here. You see 400 error, and similarly, it will be captured here too. You see get call 400 error code. You see get 400, and same will be captured in the network too. You can go click here. You can see the response. Address. This one, sorry, 400 response. You can see select ID first name, last name, salutation, the ID first name on the entity object. If you are attempting to use custom fields, append C. So this is how you can view the complete error of your messages. And same, you can filter it out from the console to, let's say, only errors. Okay, you only want to view the errors. So you can say errors only. So you see get error. And if you want to search it, you can search that too. Make sense, guys?
Yes, Ankur. But the logging available in VB, I tried to use that logging functionality. It was not working.
Which logging functionality?
In this VB development tool, like there is a log button. You need to enable
this
that
one?
too.
No. This log button will not work for such kind of things. This is only for the business object, and might be there's some bug due to which it is not working. I have raised this concern with the Oracle team as well. They said there's some issue and they will fix it in the future release. So this is only for the business objects. This is not for such type of components here.
Okay. And one more thing, like after developing this application, let's say like we want to deploy it to Oracle Cloud, so or Salesforce extension. So
You are saying you want to embed that application?
Yes, Ankur. Let's say like the single sign-on being used by the user, same with that same user credential, he would be able to use this application extension.
So
And
for this,
like,
So for this, what you have to do, you have to integrate your identity provider with the IDCS. And then I have, highlighted this in the very first or second class too. Though we have to add the identity provider. Let's suppose you have the Okta or you have the AD. You have to add a SAML IDP here. And then all the users which you are creating, okay, here it should be federated only. Then when you will log in into your VBCS application, then you will be able to log in with your single sign-on application. I have one YouTube video which I will share, and then it will give you a few things.
okay, good. And one more question. There are a lot many questions I'm putting.
Just hold down. Let me just give it to right now. With IDCS. So this is the blog. Let me just share it with you guys.
It would be better if you can share in WhatsApp.
I will do that. I did that.
Thank you. And one more question, can we use this VB application development ID, standalone? Because, we have created.
No, you cannot.
Okay, it is supposed to always integrated with the integration instance.
Yes. So VB instance you can create separately as well. You don't need the complete OIC.
Yes, that was my question. Like how to do that? Like if you can share a document also, that would be fine.
Just hold on. From the OCI console only, there will be an option. Okay. Developer services. Here you see under OCI Classic Service Visual Builder from here.
Okay.
So it will
Yeah,
open
me?
up. Yeah, from here you can create a Visual Builder instance.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so last topic which I wanted to cover, how to create mobile application. Mobile application is as simple as that. We have to create the web application, and all the components, all the action chains are also there in your mobile application. So here we have the mobile application, and all the business object and the service connection which you have created earlier, you can reuse the same. Okay.
गिर रहा है बारिश हल्का हल्का।
Guys, can you please
अरे
go?
भाई आजू बाजू कहीं घर में या बिल्डिंग में जनरेटर है क्या? आवाज आ रही है?
Hey Piyush, can you please go on mute? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so in order to create a mobile application, you have to go to the mobile application plus mobile application, and here you can say my mobile application. You can create the horizontal template, you can do the vertical, you can do the none, let's say vertical, or let's say horizontal, let's say nav 1, and let's say 2. You can delete that, and for each and every navigation, if you click on the next, you have to select the template as well. On the nav 1, let's say list. On the nav 2, let's say form. Create. Here you can see flows. Nav 1, the first flow, nav 2 as a second flow. Okay, here you can, this is the list view because we have selected the list view component. You can change the page title from here. You can say employees data. Okay, and you can bind this list view component from any one of the business object or the service connections which you already have. Let's say country. Country data. There are two templates, the default template and this one, let's say this one. Next, and you have to drag and drop the components here, English, English short, French, and French short. Next, and then finish. I'm just showing you it's very quickly because it's as simple as you create the web application. But I will explore the functionality which are specific to the mobile application. What happened to this? Let me just try again. You can see all the country data here. You can change. You can do each and everything, whatever you do in your web application. So what I wanted to show you, so there are few functionality, or you can add more data into this nav to start page and the structure will remains the same. So here in the mobile application, this mobile application can be rendered on the Android as well as on the iOS, and this mobile application can be exposed as a progressive web app. The progressive web app is similar to the native web app and it can run on any device as the native application. how to expose it, click on this mobile application, go to the settings, and here we have the PWA. So you just need to activate this checkbox, means activate this, and your application which you have created will be exposed as the enable progressive web app. Now let's stage this application, okay? Or let's preview this application. When you will preview this application, your application will be rendered on a mobile. And why it is showing this scan? Because this mobile app, this application is already on the stage. If you have created the application earlier and the status was in the development, so this scan is the code will not come. This code only will come if your application is already in the stage. You can rebuild my app. The same functions, the same options are there as you have seen in your web application. Replace data stage. Now you can scan this code via your mobile device, any iOS and then Android. You just try to scan this. You can just open the camera of your devices and try to scan this code, and it will be launched in your browser. When you will do this, it will allow you a button called add to home screen for the Android devices. But for the iOS devices, you have to use the shortcut like the share icon and then click on the add to home screen. Similarly, you can add it onto your computers as well. If you click on this launch on a screen, launch in my browser, launch in browser, so it will be launched in the browser as a native application, and it will allow me to add it on the home screen. Let it be loaded. Here you see, and here you see this install button, install my mobile app. Install, if I will install it, here you can see this has been installed and there's a different, okay, I hope you are not able to view it. Yeah, here you see this app. So this is your PWA app, and I can find it into my computer as well, and you can launch it here as a PWA app. This is very, very simple functionality. Now let's go back here. Here. Okay. Now this is how you enable the PWA. But for every change, every time you do a new functionality, you have to rebuild your application. Otherwise, changes will not be reflected. This is how you enable the PWA. And if you want to deploy your application on the iOS or the iOS or the Android, you have to create a configuration for the Android as well for the iOS. And then similarly, here you see this thing, but there you will have two tabs, one for the PWA and second for the native application. And then again you will have the code, and once you will scan the code for your Android or the iOS, you will be able to install your application as you do from your what we say, App Store or the Android store. But you have to first, you would be needing for the Android configuration, you should, so everyone who knows about the mobile application development, they would know how to add the Android configuration. For this, you would be requiring the key store password, alias, and then key password. But for the iOS, they would be requiring, it's very secure and no one can do that. But for this, you would be requiring the certificate and then provisioning profile and then signing identity. The one who do the iOS development, they would know how to create that certificate and then provisioning profile. Guys, make sense? It's very simple again. Any question, do let me know, guys. If no question.
Ankur, to create like Android application, let's say like we create a APK file.
Yes.
So like from this web application can be like download a APK
Yes.
so that we can share with someone.
Yes, I told you now, when you will add the Android configuration here and you will launch your application, instead of having the same, you will see two tabs here. One as a PWA and second for the Android. You go to the Android, similarly, you will see the code here, scan code. You can scan this code from your Android devices and you will see the APK file. You will be able to download the APK file.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so I am good for today's session, and today was the second last. The next class will be the last. The next class will be the last class of the OIC training, and we will cover the PCS there, the process cloud. Any question?
Ankur, like for VB, like you were saying that there were some recipes, like built-in recipes. Built-in recipes that that would be more useful, that we can use in developing the web application.
In the integration you are talking about?
No, not in the integration. For VB, like there are some
Okay.
seeded.
Okay. So what I was saying that if you create a new application here, let's say VB template. Okay. So we have the template here, which is based on the Visual Builder Cookbook. You remember I have given one Visual Builder Cookbook URL to you. Okay. So Oracle has added one template here. What happened? Why it is not allowing me to select this? When I select this select button is getting grayed out. Why so? Maybe some issues. Okay. 103 and then finish. So when you will use this template, okay, there are different pages which will be created under different flows. Looks like there's some problem with this template, guys. Do you see I'm not able to use this? No problem. But no problem, guys. What I'm telling you, VBJet Cookbook. So what Oracle has done this, Oracle has created a small demo, which they have embedded into this template, which I am trying to select. And there's some issues with that. And you will see here, you see under that web application, you will see different flows. Like we have this add contact and list contacts. You will be able to use these flows and you can see how how a particular functionality is built. For example, if you want to do the bulk processing, so Oracle has created a particular workflow wherein they have created one page and will show how to do the bulk processing, for example. You can try it in a different instance. I don't know what is happening, why there's a problem, but it's not too complex. Let me see if I will be able to use the same in the next class. Okay, please remind me.
Sure.
Okay, guys, so I am good for today's session. We will meet next
Ankur,
week. Yeah, Santosh.
Actually, I was doing this, consuming this BI report. I found some problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I will ask in the next class
No problem.
how to consume BI reports.
Sure, no problem. Okay, guys, one more thing. I will.
Ankur, do you have any documents for apart from this training? Do you have any documents for this consuming BI reports?
Yeah, I have one blog. I will share it with you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And guys, I will share one feedback form. Please fill that form. It will take hardly 3 to 4 minutes of yours. Please fill that form as a feedback. And how do you find this training useful? What you have learned and few other things. Please fill that form before you join the next class, the last class. I will share that link over the WhatsApp. Please feel free to give your feedback. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. We will meet next week, same time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ankur. Bye bye. Good night.
Good night.